moved here in 1979 to this house, we used to live across the street. We used to rent that apartment in the bottom part, downstairs. And the house, this house came for sale, so we came and talked to the owner and we bought the house.
Yeah, we lived in that two-story house for about 17 years. And then this house came up for sale and nobody was buying it, so I went and talked to the owner. We got it.
We were advocates in the community. There used to be an elementary school, and a lot of children were getting run over because we didn't have any traffic lights. So we, our group got together and fought for the signal lights. We got the children to move that on this side of the road instead of them crossing the highway. So we were always fighting for an issue. When I was growing up here, it was all Anglo-owned. Okay, we call, I don't like to say white people, but there's a lot of changes that I've seen. You know, all their homes, everything is some kind of condo or some kind of club, a beer joint. You go just down the street, a restaurant. The community's totally changed. Even this community here. We don't have any neighbors except my cousin across the street, and this young man here that lives next door to us is our neighbors now. And I heard in the news, you should get out there and know your neighbors. Well, I don't have any neighbors. I already know my neighbors. There's two of them. Everybody's a business now, you know.
Where's mother and dad?
Right there, baby.
Oh.
Here's our picture here. That was 2 years ago, 55 years of marriage. We were married, but we were not married by our church. Our priest was leaving the church, and I asked him if he could marry us, so he did. This is for oh, there it is. There's the old picture. You can't see most of it. He was a good-looking young man.
I don't know what she was talking about. She's got that album, but...
No, I was saying you were a good-looking young man. I have a picture.
Oh!
I said he was a good-looking young man. I was showing him the picture of you and I dressed. You were dressed in a tuxedo and I was dressed in a long purple dress. When we...
I've got an old picture of mine that this friend of mine sent me when I was young.
If you can find it. I never dated when I was a teenager. My mother died when I was 11, so I was responsible for my younger brothers and sisters. So I had to come home and fix dinner, get them ready for bed, get them bathed, and there were 7 of them, so I couldn't very well let them down every day. You know, I had to come home from school, and you know, it's weird how you don't think about, you're only thinking of helping your parent. My father was a single parent, so I was responsible for the little ones while he worked. You find it, puppy?
Mm-hmm.
You knew you would find it.
Here it is.
There you are.
That's when I was in the service. To tell these guys, I said, Elvis doesn't have anything on me. I never had any problems because, you know, some of the whites look down on the Mexican people, and you know, because they didn't know how to speak English. You know, and I tell them, I said, look, you're talking to me. You know, because we'd go to the beer hall and most of us Spanish people stuck together. So we'd sit in a table and we'd be drinking beer and speaking Spanish. This one guy went up there and told us, we speak English so we can understand. He said, I don't know if you're cussing me or cussing us. I said, listen, you little SOB, you better get up there and sit at your damn table and quit bothering us.
He was something else when he was
Yeah,
young.
because I mean, I couldn't stand for it. And my mother, she taught us that y'all go to school and learn English so y'all won't have to go through what we've been through because we couldn't speak English.
We hardly ever speak. My kids don't know how to speak
We
Spanish.
always spoke English at home.
We never spoke Spanish.
So when our kids went to school, you know, because I figured, well, if they know English, they won't have any problems.
Yeah, although we had Spanish teachers teaching, you cannot speak Spanish in the classroom. Last name were Garcia, Herrera, teachers. But they hear you speak Spanish, they will spank you. And then when I started working with the school system, they were teaching bilingual. And they wanted my daughters in the bilingual program, and I told them no. And I worked with the school system. I said, no, ma'am. You will not get my daughters into bilingual, and they're not going to learn the language. Because they're not going to be treated right if they speak Spanish. Well, that's the way times were, you know. The times were hard. You're either going to make it in school because you know how to get along with people and how to speak with the person, or you're going to fail because they're going to think you're retarded. Every teacher that sat in that teacher's lounge thought every child that did not speak English was retarded. So they put them in special ed because they didn't know the language. And I fought it, and I fought and fought. I said, look, you ought to go do what I do. I go to my students' homes and learn what's going on with that family. Now, I don't care about what they do in their lifetime. I want to know what they do with the child. What is it they do most with them? And why don't they know how to speak English? Have you ever thought that a parent might not know how to speak English? How's she going to teach her child English if she don't know it herself?
Okay. Well, you know, that's our language here, English.
And
It's not Spanish.